and presented by Under Armour and Sleeper Fantasy. Welcome to Light Years. Samus Fandiari here, sitting in for Andy Liu. I got my guy from GSW Fast Break, Vignesh. Viggy, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm okay. How about we'll go with a firm okay. Good. I think
Just lying.
you said
just
this
li-
2 seconds ago, but good. Good personally, bad Warriors wise.
just,
And I don't know
just
how anyone else could be otherwise.
so we're recording this after the Warriors lose in overtime to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 130-123. I don't need to ask you because I know the answer. Worst loss of the season, most frustrating loss of the season. Is that 7 straight losses for this team, or is it 6? I've lost track. It's 6. Okay.
I think it's 6.
6 straight.
I believe it's 6, but we're not feeling very good right now.
Up 18. I think there was a spirited effort among most of the team, but they're making mistakes that, quite frankly, you shouldn't expect from a veteran team. And it's really 2 people who I want to signal out at first right now: Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson. I decided to throw the poll up. You know you have a lightning rod issue when you get 4,000, almost 4,000 votes in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Sorry. So who knows where this lands? Who's more washed, Klay or Kerr? Reasonable minds can disagree on this one, but I think the overarching non-troll point here I'm trying to make is they're both way too experienced to look this bad in general, in their own ways. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but like, your 4-time championship player, your 4-time championship coach, I don't expect you to not look physically aged. I expect you to be mentally smarter than you are.
I think it's a fair question to ask, Sam, because I think like down the stretch of this game, you can point to both Klay and Steve Kerr as the wearing goat horns tonight. I mean, the one that I will say, like, Klay, I thought was pretty good. Not pretty good. By recent standards, Klay was pretty good until overtime, where he completely regressed and started chucking up shots that he had no business putting up.
Perfect
However,
way
he would
to
not even be in that position.
Yeah. That's actually a great way to put it. Yeah.
I think, like, how do you not foul up 3? How many times are we going to keep doing this? How many times are we going to keep doing this? How many times are we going to keep doing this? I can already see the post-game quote. It's, I knew we should have fouled up 3. That's on me, yada, yada, yada. But where's the accountability? This is like the 4th time I can think of in recent memory that the Warriors have not managed to survive a game.
I'm so tired of Steve Kerr mea culpas. I need to be better. Then just be better. Then just be better. The not fouling up 3 is the most obvious play, just because I feel like it's a microcosm of all their issues. It's giving up an 18-point lead slowly when you could have stopped the run multiple times. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went on a personal run in the third quarter. At no point did Steve Kerr think to stop the game and do anything to recenter his team. Fourth quarter, Jalen Williams took what Shai did and was like, you know what? I'm taking the lead. I'm taking us all the way there. The entire game, it's just like, Steve, you're not coaching the 2014-15 Warriors. You don't have Andre Iguodala out there. You don't have Andrew Bogut. You don't have Sean Livingston. This is a young team that requires you. It's young's the wrong word, but you have you need to be a lot more active as a head coach, is my general take. I feel like watching Dagenau versus Kerr is like the perfect juxtaposition, or just like they one guy is up instructing his players at all times and calling a timeout if things are not going right. You could call it micromanaging if you want, but I feel like we all praise Spoelstra for doing it. He's like the gold standard for in-game coaching in general. And on the other side, I feel like Steve does this antiquated Phil Jackson, I want my guys to figure it out, I'm going to let them do it. I think that style of coaching's out, man. I don't think it works in the NBA anymore. There's too much talent. There's too much in-game negotiation and like stuff going on. You should have never been in position to have to choose to foul up three, as far as I'm concerned.
Correct. I mean, I think that the death by 1,000 paper cuts feels worse if you just keep reinforcing the same paper cut over and over again. Like, I mean, to call a spade, right? Steve Kerr is a direct descendant of the Pop coaching tree. As soon as Steph hits a three, Pop's taking a timeout. That's it. It's immediate. It is instantaneous. It is an incredible reaction because it's like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to let Steph build momentum. And when the Warriors like turned the corner, right, and got up 18, what does Dagnall do? He takes a timeout. He recenters his team. He sends them back out on a mission, and they are immediately back into the game. And again, 22-6 run. And after that, you're like, oh shit, well, it's almost a tie game now. I guess it's time to take a timeout. J Will, has hit 7 consecutive pick and roll fading to the left jumpers. Maybe I should think about taking a timeout. But it extends to other aspects of the game too. Like we've been on Steve about rotations and everything all season. Last season too.
It's. I mean, you said it. Pick and roll fading to the left. That's all every time. Same play, over and over again. And I get it. You know, it would have been nice to see Kuminga be able to figure it out, but he wasn't. Call a timeout. Make an adjustment. Get up in here. Like, there's a million different little things you could have done there. It wasn't. It's frustrating to see them lose that way, I guess, is what I want to point out. They had the lead. They played a good game. Andrew Wiggins, who we will talk about at some point, but
yes,
if they won, he'd be the lead. I'll put it that way. He looked like he was coming out of his slump. It's just frustrating, man. It's, Kerr said all off season, we're not overwhelmingly talented. We can't just rely on our talent. We have to win in the margins. We can't turn it over. We got to do this stuff. Part of winning in the margins is coaching. Part of winning in the margins is figuring out how to manage a game properly and not allowing a team to come back 18 on you. Because the thing about their 18-point comeback, which is so annoying, is it's not prime Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, where you're just like, they just erased 18 points in a minute 30. How did that happen? It was a methodical 12-plus minute dissection. Yep. It's all mid-range shots. It's all floaters. It's you get a stop, go back, slow it down. Like, they're not an explosive team. They're a highly talented team, but they're not explosive. And so they offer you so many opportunities to kind of stop the game and go the other way. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work if you do that, but I want to see at least try.
100%. I mean, I think the carryover effect is pretty grisly, right? So the Warriors are not a young team, and they just had to play 5 extra minutes with Steph coming back from injury. They start to see kind of some of the youth turn it on, and it would be great to reward them with more minutes. If the 18-point turns into a 26-point laugher. Nope. Instead, let's put more minutes on our core guys. Let's run Chris Paul more into the ground. Let's run Steph more into the ground. Let's run Klay more into the ground. And I mean, like, anything that happened in the overtime, honestly, at this point, I'm like, I can't flush it because I just saw Klay chuck up 3 of the most disgusting shots I've ever seen him chuck up. But you wouldn't even be there, like you said, Sam, if we had elected to do anything differently over the course of that elongated run in the third and fourth quarters. Or, again, I still keep coming back to the easiest kind of solve for this. Chet Holmgren catches the ball with 1.6 seconds left. Whack him.
Yeah. And that's not even I mean, it's frustrating. And like, I side on the Kerr over Klay being the bigger issue here. And it's not because I have a soft spot for Klay. I think we all are a little, like, it sucks. We all know that the injuries, like, the reason Klay is kind of looks as old as he is not because he's old. It's because he had his legs taken out from him in his prime. And I feel bad about that. But the reason I think Kerr's a bigger issue here is he also enables Klay. no one wants to have that conversation with Klay Thompson, but someone has to. And I think the person who's most qualified and definitely just the responsibility falls on should be the head coach, should be the guy who's been through the wars with him. That should be the guy who's like, Klay, you need to accept where you're still an NBA player. You can still be a very productive NBA player for another 7 years. I truly believe that. I just think he needs to let go of the idea that he'll ever be an all-star again. And some of the shots he takes remind me, it reminds me of post-Achilles Kobe Bryant, which is just not where you want to be in general. And it reminds me of a guy who there's a lot of pride there. All the attributes that made Klay one of the best big game players for a decade are the same attributes that are leading to this being so ugly. And maybe I'm making excuses for him, and maybe I'm a little softy with his whole thing, but it's just like, inevitably I look at leadership here. I never thought Klay was the leader of the show. Like, I thought he was like the ultimate soldier, the ultimate like big game player. It's on Kerr, it's on Steph, honestly. It's on a bunch of people to kind of be like, Klay, you need to accept that, you're not the Splash Brother. You're not going to be an all-star again.
Yeah, it's a really tough conversation to have. And to some degree, I think like a large part of Bob Myers being on ESPN instead of in the Warriors front office is the realization that he's going to have perhaps two of those conversations relatively soon. He's like, it's been fun, guys. I want to stay friends. I'm out. And I, Sam, I'm kind of with you though. Here's the thing. We saw Klay essentially put the team on his back amidst all the inconsistencies around him less than 10 months ago, right? Like,
sure.
10, 9. And he was productive. It wasn't apex Klay, but it was a very effective form of Klay. So we've seen that recently. What I haven't seen is Steve Kerr come up with a consistent methodology or way to develop young talent. I haven't seen him fix the foul up three problem, which has been plaguing us for many seasons. The tweet that you have on the screen, I actually 100% disagree with. We didn't think it was a clean foul. Chet was facing the sideline.
Should we play it? Let me play the audio real quick so everyone can hear it. Here's Steve Kerr on the podium minutes ago explaining why they didn't foul up three.
Against three late, obviously. Chet hits the game tying three. Was there thought to foul, or do you feel like you can foul in a one?
We only wanted to foul if it was a clean foul, because at that time, if somebody catches, I've seen a lot of plays where you foul early and they still give the guy a shooting foul. So you got to be really careful. So we switched, and we just got a good challenge. Chet just made an incredible shot.
He's calling the Thunder grifters. But I mean, I'll let you go because you had a take on it, and I just wanted to get the quote out there.
I disagree, Steve. I'm really sorry. He was facing the sideline when he caught the ball. Whack his leg. I understand the sentiment, and there's been other situations where I think this is a little bit more murky. This one does not feel as murky, and I agree it's easy to armchair quarterback. I have never stared down a 1.6 second.
None of us are going to be happy with the and 1-3 that he might have hit too. So, to your point. But anyway, going back to it, I kind of, this is why people say the rule, you foul up three. And if you're going to do it, you better do it fucking cleanly. You better whack him before he gets a shot off. Don't let him get a shooting foul. What I'm hearing from Steve, here's the take. He didn't trust his team to do it. That's what I heard. I don't think he trusts his guys to have a clean foul in that situation without fouling. He's worried that whoever caught the ball, Chet in this case, was going to be able to get the rip through.
I think that's fair. And I think there's a broader question to be had here about like there's a take that I'm not sure I want to lob out there into the universe, but like I can't really blame the Warriors, honestly, given some of the officiating that we've seen over the years. Like my personal favorite is when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went horizontal on a shot attempt, like he was parallel to the ground, and Wiggins got called for a foul. I'm like, and we challenged it and didn't get overturned. I'm like, really? So I don't doubt that there's an element of, well, shit, if he gets the rip through, it's going to be a shooting foul and we're in trouble anyway. That being said, like Chet Holmgren caught the ball facing out of bounds without even looking at the basket, then had to turn and fire. There were opportunities there, and I think there were opportunities there.
Yeah, I agree. Before we move forward, I just want to let everyone know NBA season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100x your cash with daily fantasy basketball. Basketball has never been more exciting than it is now with players like Steph Curry, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant. Pick more or less on stats for these stars like points, rebounds, three-pointers, steals, doubles, and make up to 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could be big. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get 100% match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use. Currently operational in 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Just had to pay the bills, my man, real quick. This is so frustrating. I don't know how else to arm it. Like, to tie it in, and I want to talk Wiggins, but we'll get to Wiggins later because I'm in a very negative mood right now.
Fair enough.
Another example of like the coaching, I don't want to say a mistake. Well, just like malpractice is starting lineup even, you know? At what point does developing young guys become a priority? I think Kuminga played really well the other night, and he gets moved to the bench. He kind of got sauteed in the second half, so it's hard to really justify saying Kuminga should have started this game. But I'm sitting here and I'm going, you know, part of the Warriors' issues right now is they aren't developing talent. That's why their starting lineup is people who are like, you're in my peers age-wise for the most part, you know, like it's like the geriatric millennial starting lineup, right?
100%.
But like beyond that, it's like, so young guys aren't getting developed, but I'm also sitting here, I'm going like, well, how do you expect them to develop? When they play well, they don't get rewarded with starting. I know starting shouldn't matter, but it kind of matters to young players. Not starting inevitably led to Jordan Poole, kind of drifting into his own world. And, you know, now he's in DC. Not starting, it's debatable if Jonathan Kuminga will develop better, but I know what's going on right now is like he just looks inconsistent when he comes off the bench a little bit. And these all tie to, again, it would be great to have 2015 Iguodala and Bogut and whatever it may be. That's not what you have. You kind of have a mixed roster of veterans and young guys you need to develop. And here we are.
I think, Sam, the other part of this is let's leave the development question aside just for 2 seconds, because I actually think that's the core point, but there's a secondary point to be made here as well, which is the following. Are we really sure that against an offensively potent team like the Thunder, trotting out the geriatric millennial squad of Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson for 37 plus minutes is going to work? The single game plus minus here is really messy because I think that, I mean, looking at the bench, this is Grizzly, but a lot of that's the Thunder making that huge kind of third, fourth quarter bridge run. I thought Kuminga, until Shai turned supernova, did a pretty decent job on him. I thought that, but the other hard thing to justify for me is like, how are Kuminga and Moody only playing 20 and 18 minutes respectively, and Pod just playing 25? I like Pods, I really do. The clarity of thought on who plays how much and why is not present and has never really been present. And I think it's okay when you have Apex Dynasty Warriors in your starting lineup. Look at the Thunder distribution of minutes.
Yeah, they know who their guys
Just
are.
like
They know who they want to play.
They've figured out like what works and what doesn't, and they lean into it. And I just like, I'm trying to think of the last time where I saw, Steve Kerr uncork something novel that I'm like, this is interesting. I wonder if it'll work, and actually seen it work. It's been a while. I know we're in super Steve Kerr negative mode right now. And to be clear, I have never coached the game of basketball. My qualifications are simply writing for a fan blog. But I think there's some like basic elements of like common sense that I think we are seeing here and flagging because, the track record speaks for itself. Like Jordan Poole's in Washington, like you said. Wiseman is in basketball Siberia, and that's a different conversation. But like with Kuminga, Moody, and Podziemski, like how do you know what you've got in the context of Kuminga and Moody unless they play a little bit more and get the consistency? Moody in particular, I think, has been like really every time he steps on the floor, it's like this guy belongs. And I know he had a weaker game tonight, a couple of turnovers, but every time he steps out, like, oh, he's ready. But when is he ready for more? What limitations is the coaching staff seeing? How does he get out there more often? It certainly can't be like, I don't know, worse option than some of the other things that we've seen the Warriors try out recently.
Yeah. I mean, the chat's saying the young guys gave up the lead in the third. That's factually true for the most part. But at the same time, I'm also sitting here, I'm like, Steve, you're coaching them like they're veterans. What are we doing with that sort of thing? So it still feels like a disconnect here. He said in pregame they want to run because they're towards the bottom of the league in transition frequency period.
Yeah.
And he's like, we want to run more, blah, blah, blah. But we haven't really, he essentially said we don't have an identity yet on the season. And I think that's true. I think watching them, my main take on this team right now is you don't have an identity. And that falls on the coach more than anything. Wow, this has just turned into a massive negative Steve Kerr session. And I want to preface it by saying, it's probably not as bad as I'm painting it right now, but it's just like, it's the frustrations right now. Losing streak, things don't look well, and it's the same mistakes on repeat over and over again. Yep. You wonder why you just don't try something else. And the chat saying it's not Kerr's fault. Clay just sucks. He's the one who keeps playing him. That's my point. He's the one who's not willing to have the hard conversation. He's not.
Here's another angle here. Sorry,
let's hear it.
Here's the other interesting thing that I'm thinking of is, you need to soak up 48 times 5 minutes in an NBA game, right?
Sure.
Like this is mathematically true. You got to soak them up. So if you're worried about trotting all the young guys out there at the same time, which can snowball like it did tonight, break things apart. Swap tonight. Yeah, I guess Kuminga and Paul is my default conversation. Is like swap Kuminga and Paul. What happens? Now you have a steadying influence. You've got your Andre in the second unit, and things hopefully go a little bit calmer. At the very least, we'll milk 23 and a half seconds off the clock before checking up a stupid shot.
Yeah. I mean, or what about Clay? What about Clay and Chris Paul going to the second unit? He's been reticent to move legacy players to the bench unless it's for other legacy players. Like Chris Paul was probably willing to accept the bench for when it was for the tried and true tested, 2022 championship starting lineup. He can accept that, right? I just think they're reaching a point where it's like harder conversations need to be had. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Kerr is doing okay, we'll do it the way you guys want since you're all champions. See how it's working? All right, now I'm going to get in there and, because I do agree with you. If this roster is going to work, which is an if at this stage, if it's going to work, it's going to be because the lineups are mixed. It's going to be like, don't take this as like what I think will be like Steph Pods, Wiggins, Draymond, and like Kuminga. And then the bench unit is, you got Chris Paul and Clay, but you also got Moody and and Saric, and it's like a mix of young guys and veterans, right?
Yeah.
Like in some, and I don't know if those are the correct combos. That's just me going off the top of the head, but it's like it's got to be something where it's not all. This is the all 35 and over lineup, and this is the all 23 and under lineup. Like what? Like what is that? So that's where I'm at with it. Should we? I think we should just get to the callers. I see a lot of passion in the mentions, and screw it. Let's get people up here.
Let's do it.
Matthew, you're hitting lead off.
Oh. All right. So to preface, I was listening on the radio when I was doing a 2-hour drive with a crying baby, crying for like an hour and a half of that drive. So I was.
Can I ask how old are we talking?
5 months.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the first half of the game going well. I'm like, I'm losing my mind because of my baby, but at least my team is doing well. Get home. The lead starts dwindling. I'm like, I am freaking at the end of my rope already. Can we not? And then Wiggs hits the big three, up 3. I'm like, there's no way, right? 1.6 seconds. Refuses to foul. Look. Again, I see it. It's more what Vig said. He's not even facing the freaking basket. I'm just look. I prefaced all that to say I'm freaking hot because I already had kind of a hell of a day. You come home and this is like the worst kind of loss to end your day on. And so I'm kind of, I know that it's just because I'm hot right now. I'm kind of where TK kind of jokingly says fire everybody, but kind of I'm specifically with the original 3 that I kind of mentioned last game. Friggin' Kerr, Clay, and Dre. Because look, they're all kind of washed in their own ways. And the thing that's really annoying is it's kind of mental for all of them. But you're freaking so experienced. How are you losing your mind? Clay, look, I get it. You started playing well. That's awesome. That's great. Like, I don't actually think Clay's physically completely washed. I think he can still hit a shot. I think that it's fair to say it's a slump. But then you start hitting shots and then immediately lose your freaking mind. Kerr, again, It's exactly what you said. Like, you just, call a freaking timeout. There's some blame on the young guys for, losing the lead. But at the end of the day, who are the 3 that have won championships? Who are the 3 that should be your stalwarts? It's Clay, Kerr, and Draymond. And Draymond, we're not mentioning him because he's not playing. Because we're all just that's Draymond.
You could say he deserves the most blame for literally just being in this situation. Because I think the funniest thing is, and Matthew, appreciate you and have a great evening. And I know what it's like, so I feel really bad for you right now. But what do you think their record is if Draymond doesn't get ejected from 2 games?
I think they've got 2 more wins at a minimum, right? It's pretty.
I say they split versus OKC with Draymond, and they probably split versus Minnesota. Yeah, they're probably 8-5. Something like that, or 8-6. Not great, but we're and so the larger point is, dude, you're a leader of the team. Be better. So, all right, I'm gonna keep moving here. We got some people to get to. I'll get to my guy Paratosh real quick. Or I won't. Can never predict who's going to accept your request. All right, get one more shot there.
While you're chasing someone down, I will say, Sam, on the positive side, we really didn't give Wiggs his flowers because this feels really sad, but Wiggs was outstanding today.
5 threes tonight. He's hit 2 at Chase prior to tonight. Yes, this was the breakout game we needed from Wiggins for an extended period of time. Great. Felt like it was the moment, and that's what makes it more annoying. I'm not going to lie.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up, man?
Yeah, sorry, I
Yes.
didn't see the join the stage button for a while. So, yeah, nothing much. Just playing some 2K to try to blow off some steam. But yeah, I want to answer your question first, Sam, that you posted on the tweet or in on Twitter. I think Clay is not washed. He definitely is in the Clay that we are used to from 2009, for example, from the 2019 finals, obviously. But we also saw last year that he takes to some time and he does chuck shots up, but he also can get it going during the season. And he was, for crying out loud, the highest like the most 3-pointers in the season last season. So he scored the most. So I don't think he's washed, but he definitely needs to accept a smaller role. I'll agree there. The bigger point is I still want to go back to Kerr. And I agree with everything that you guys have said, and you guys have basically pointed out everything that I wanted to say. I just want to point out that all of this stems from one thing. It stems from his stubbornness and his um, steadfast dedication to just the one way that he knows how to coach and how to play, or maybe not one way how to play or run an offense, but definitely one way how to manage. And so there's always one thing or the other going on. Like, for example, outside of the 22 season, 2021, we saw how long it took for him to realize that we need Steph on the ball, and by that time it was too late to drag us out of the plane. Last year we saw again the same kind of thing, but last year we can give him that the squad wasn't what he wanted. This season he's got the squad that he wanted. I'm pretty sure CP3 was one of his choices. Like you mentioned, Corey Joseph was his choice, and I just found out that Corey Joseph actually gets more than someone like Lonnie Walker, who actually dumped us out of the playoffs. So, and I'm not saying we should have got Lonnie Walker, but we know why we went for Corey Joseph over Lonnie Walker. So it's just that he refuses to adapt to the new NBA. He refuses to adapt to the fact that we have younger players that need to be coached more, and not just because they can help us, but if we want to trade them, we need to increase their trade value as well. So it's not like that we are doing that either, which is why we end up with bad trades. For example, I still don't know whether Chris Paul is a good trade or a bad trade. So like, you see my point, right? Like, he has to either adapt to the new NBA, or he's going to get left behind, just like Clay and just like Draymond at some point will. Although I don't think their time is up yet. And just one last thing is, I want to liken Steve Kerr, and I do this very often, to a soccer coach. I don't know if people watch, but a soccer coach named Jose Mourinho that you know about probably. He also has the exact same methods of coaching. He likes vets and he can't get along with younger players. And he was also extremely successful a couple of years ago, but right now he's not one of the elite coaches. And that's pretty much where Steve Kerr, I think, is going as well. So yeah,
I think that's the call of the evening. Paratosh, I appreciate you. I haven't thought to compare him to Mourinho, but that's where my mind is going to be the rest of the night. I always compared Steve Kerr to Pep Guardiola. Same type of like stubborn genius. But Pep also never hung around to coach a squad where he didn't get to pick every player he wanted the entire way through. So I don't know where you're at on that one. I don't know if you're into that sort of thing. So I'll let you.
I've watched enough soccer to I think I certainly see the character, at least one of the character traits that Partosh commented on. I think this is a very, very, he's a very successful person who has achieved everything that there is to achieve in the NBA at all levels. Except for one thing, which is with a squad of this type of construction, sounds like perfect injury luck and people keeping their shit together. Like, can you figure it all out? And I think he's definitely trying to find the right pathway, but I think there's other levers to pull that have not been pulled yet. So I see it. Can you teach? Really, it's a question: can you teach an old dog new tricks?
So here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at with it. I think coaching's a young man's game. Honestly, I kind of think there's exceptions. Obviously, like Pop's timeless. Spoelstra, while he looks young, that might just be the Southeast Asians genes coming through a little bit for him. But like in general, NBA coaching so much now is about being like hyperactive on the sidelines and getting into your players. In some ways, it's kind of like the NFL. Like I feel like all the best coaches in the NFL are kind of on the younger side. those who are like sitting back and dissecting kind of get left behind. And I wonder if Steve, his methods are just like, it's just 2023. That's not going to work right now. But then again, all things go in cycles. You know, we said this with baseball, and Bruce Bochy won with the same old school method in the middle of like everyone being like, you know, so I don't know. I can talk all the way. I'm going to go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say one really quick thing, which is I think an example of where the old fashioned coaching is not working right now. Look at Bill Belichick of my beloved Patriots right now. Flailing despite full roster control. Right. And tell me that you don't see at least a little bit of a parallel. I know they're obviously very different in terms of age, but like Steve Kerr had
I was just thinking that was going to be the Warriors after Steph retired, but you know, or like moved on, but it's happening quicker than I thought. Right. So, yeah, no, I mean, that's my entire point. Bill Belichick, first ballot Hall of Famer, smartest guy. You know, with regards to football, you're going to find it does feel like he's stubborn and not adapting to a new reality. So I don't know. All right, let's move it through. We got Aaron Lau up here to bring the vibes. The curator of vibes. We got a request in the chat which said, "Can we get A Lau up here to cheer everything up?"
You know, it's crazy. I was going to take the night off. I wrapped up the game. I heated up some food. Pissed off now though, so you know, I'm like a necessary evil. If they want to summon the Kraken, I'm here. But yeah, what a game, man! It's crazy. I had a few thoughts. Dude, the Oklahoma City Thunder hit the Gen Z lottery. They are living proof that you can have the pregame tunnel walk, have lit social media, coordinate your Skims deal, and still ball. Holy shit! Like, I don't know any other team that could do that. Like, oh my God. Secondly, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, dude, these guys, man, like, I don't know, like I don't think Wiggins ever had a game like this. So we blew the Wiggins game.
It feels so like yeah, exactly. It feels like
we blew the Wiggins game.
Bro, I
don't know.
I didn't have a child last time Wiggins did this.
Sam, I think you have Wiggins on your sleeper team in our league.
Yes.
Bro, he went off and like
he was on the lineup tonight. I also had Shea though, so you know.
Dude, oh my God. You know what pissed me off the most is like Jalen Williams, the Santa Clara version, cooking us with that. Oh my God, I was like, that's
with
beautiful.
the same play on repeat. It felt like playing Madden or 2K, where it's just like, oh, I found the move. Let's go.
You know, there's
4 against a single safety. Move him out of the way, throw it. Move him out of the way.
Exactly.
Every time.
I'm just like a doomsdayer, so I already know how my weekend's going to go. Saturday, we're toast, right? I'm going to bed. So tomorrow, hopefully, we watch the 49er game. You know, maybe they blow it, right? But what's going to set off Thanksgiving week is when Dylan Brooks comes in, and you know what he's about to do. Dylan, the villain, is going to pull up, and I think if he drops 40, I think Kerr's is getting canned. It's done. Like, if Dylan Brooks comes in.
Lacob sending him home before the holiday.
Bro, Joe Lacob is going to walk out. Like that meme where Kobe's walking out with his kids. Rest in peace. But, oh, my God, Joe Lacob's going to walk out, bro. He's going to beat the traffic to get back to freaking Walnut Creek or wherever he lives. Danville, one of them. But it's rough, man. Like, I feel bad for all the kids that, oh, man, it's like, so many things. Like, if we would have won this game, I wouldn't have had all these thoughts. But now, like, we lost. I'm like, bro, we should never play in those jerseys ever again. They're so ugly. It's like everything.
Dude, so I put a rundown together every time we do a show. I'm in double rundown mode. Mid game, I'm like, if we win, this is where we're going. If we lose, this is where we're going. And that's like the dual. I don't know. You know how else you put it with this team? It's just, you know, Wiggins hits that shot. I'm ready to get on here and be like, he's back.
He's back.
Hail Canada. It just needed some time. Is this the turning corner? Chet hits that thing. You know, I was gonna concern troll about Kerr no matter what. But then it goes the other way, and now we're here. Like, is it over? Do we trade Steph? Should we trade?
Oh my God!
It's just like, you know. Obviously, I'm not putting on it, but it's just so.
You know, like, you know how they say, like, you know, this is some fake philosophy, but it's like you're the sum of the 5 people that you're closest around, right? And you know, let's say Jonathan Kuminga, for example. It's like, bro, he's homies with Jalen Green. I don't really want him to be on my team, dog. If that's your bro, man. Like, we need someone that's homies with like somebody else, man. Like, I'm just out, bro. Because he's probably texting. This is an example of Gen Z not working. We need some dogs, man. But hey,
yes,
we still have one more day of the weekend. We got an off day tomorrow. Prepare for Dylan Brooks.
Well, all right. Appreciate you, Aaron. Have a great
Anytime.
evening. Go have a cocktail. All right. Got a couple more Bills to play. Steph Curry makes you believe anything. And the Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce grip and stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. Shout out OKC. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite players and rep your favorite shoes on and off the court. Steph's 11th signature shoe into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorways inspirations from the wonders of the positive and the modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave in scrimmage and rep UA wherever you go. Do your thing. Change the game. Curry 11s, Future Curry, available now on currybrand.com. Once again, currybrand.com. Don't know which way the season's going, but I do know Steph will drop 30 on everyone the rest of the way. Go to currybrand.com. All right, guys. One more thing. Ready to spice up Thanksgiving? As we dive headfirst into mountains of mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce, let's talk about the unsung hero of the holiday season. The Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That's right. It's time to go cold turkey on your old razor and take care of your own turkey leg with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Visit manscaped.com and use promo code LIGHTYEARS for 20% off and free shipping, and enjoy Thanksgiving in style with the Lawnmower 5.0. Gobble, gobble. Get 20% off, free shipping. Use the promo code LIGHTYEARS at manscaped.com. 20% off, manscaped.com. Promo code LIGHTYEARS. Let me try my best right now. All right, let's keep moving. We got more people to get to. I'm gonna go to my guy Tashion.
What's better, Game 5 wigs or this game? I'm just curious right now.
Oh, Game 5. I mean, it's
stinks and whatnot, but yeah, we blew that kind of game.
I think he played at Game 5 level, but you know, it was a regular season game, so we can't go all the way there. I don't know, man. How are you feeling? In general, like,
here's the thing. I am not even mad at the not fouling up 3 thing because I've seen this team fuck it up so many times before. Remember them fouling Bradley Beal on a 3, and it was actually an and 1? That was stupid. The only time that I only saw this team executed correctly was like in 2018 against the Celtics, and that was actually the game of the year, personally. But yeah, here's the thing with Kerr. It was going so well, and then Joku shit the bed in the third quarter. He was doing so well and just let Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get way too comfortable. You can argue, you can call a timeout. I'm perfectly fine with that. But also, if Joku can't guard some of the best perimeter players in the league, then it just worries me personally about our ceiling. Personally. But here's the argument to make is that it's not Joku needs more minutes or should start. It's that Moody should play more minutes. Because ultimately, what we're trying to do is make sure that CP3 doesn't play 30 minutes a game. We're trying to make sure that Clay doesn't play 32 minutes a game so that we don't have to see him go space cadet like a college flunky in overtime, bro. And so that we don't have to see Steph play like a passive asshole in the fourth quarter in overtime. But yeah, it's honestly on Kerr for just like making sure to get the reins under control in the third quarter, especially in terms of making sure Joku just gets his head out of his ass and making sure that the game can still be lost. But man, Moody deserves better. Moody deserves better. He's been playing so well, especially with Steph and a lot of the lineups that you want to do in order to save guys' legs in terms of Clay and Chris Paul. Moody has been the answer for us the entire year. And it's like, man, it's frustrating.
It is frustrating. Moody does deserve to play more. I mean, I think, Tasha, I appreciate you calling in, as always. We can all admit what they're doing is not working. And we all have our personal thoughts, more Kuminga, more Moody, more pods, split up this, split up that. Every one of them has underlying logic. Every one of them's reasonable. Here's what I know. Like, try one of them. Like, because what you're doing is not working at this stage. We're getting that. I'm dying it loud in the chat going, just to get our ass kicked by guys wearing Skims. Everybody's wearing Skims, you know? So, it's a mistake. Let's keep moving. Look at Gio up here. Gio, what's up, man?
Okay, yeah. So my thought is, right, like, I honestly think Clay will be fine when Dre gets back. Like, I hope so because, like, I don't think he's that washed.
Do you think so or do you hope so?
Honestly, I hope so because, like, listen, last year, even though like last playoff with the Lakers, he was kind of shot. But we did see like 3 months of good basketball play. Like I think he has like 3 months, and the regular season of good basketball, right?
That's fair. That's fair. Like from
Like,
January through March, he led the league in threes. You don't do that if
yes.
you're worthless.
But my thing is like outside of him though, like you need help outside of that though. Like I think Wiggins needs to be better, right? That's true. But like it's a whole Chris Paul like trade, right? You trade Chris Paul for what exactly? To get like I guess smarter around like in some ways, right? But like your ceiling pretty much is capped, like pretty much. Like JP at his best, we we were like a chip team. When he was good, we were a chip team, right? He won us game one with the Grizzlies by himself, with Steph on the bench. Well, yeah, was it game one? Was he still on the bench? Yeah. So like
Denver.
It was Dre. You're thinking, yeah, it was Denver. You're right. But game one against Memphis, that was the Draymond gets ejected, but Jordan goes nuts game anyway.
yes,
Combined
yes. Like versus Celtics, like he still played well. He still had like 14 points a game with the Celtics, and like won us games in those series. Like you're still
Small.
like he's small still. But all I'm saying is right. CP trade I think was the wrong move. Like I think he had KP out there if he wanted to. I get other options besides
What about the option out? Well, so here's the thing. I want to ask you this. I want to ask both of you this. Is he just a trade chip at this point? Like,
yes,
I talked myself into the idea that he could be the perfect piece to bring that year 3 splurge out of Kuminga, Moody, and like, you know, because like at no point in my mind did I think he was going to bring like, you know, offensive scoring. I thought he could be like the glue piece that made Kuminga take the step, and that was going to be enough, right? That's not happening to date. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 months, but maybe it will. I guess my question is he just a trade chip at this point for you?
I mean, yes, because like listen, like Steph was kind of off today, but he's still fucking really good. Like he's still so good.
His off is 27, right?
Yes,
Exactly.
right. And all I'm saying is he's still that good. You need to make a trade. Like you need to make a deal done because he's still this good. And guys, I know Clay is old, but I think Clay is still good if he's around better talent around him. Like make the trade. He's a trade chip. That's my take. He's a trade chip for some other dude from Siakam or like maybe like DeMar DeRozan. Or I mean I don't know, but like anyone that's better than this, in my opinion.
Can I zag on this opinion? I'm going to zag here,
on.
Sam. Here's what I'm going to say. I think that he can still unlock a lot, but we're not using him in the same way that we used Jordan Poole last year out of necessity, right? Like if we were hoping for a more stable second unit anchor, Chris Paul could be that, but he started more than half the games this season, 3/4 of the games this season. Like preseason as well. Like he's been in the starting lineup more often than not. So how is he going to anchor that second unit or bring more out of Moody or trade chip? But I think like we haven't really seen. I think the only thing that I will say that will shake me out of my negative mood is we still haven't seen this team at full strength for more than a couple games. Like there's always been something.
I think that's fair, and I think I actually agree with you more than anything. Like he's a very smart basketball player. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Even if he's on his last legs, he can contribute in certain situations. Maybe not the way he did 10 years ago, but that's life, right? I think it's probably in their best interest to figure out how he can contribute because you can't count on a trade. Those moves make themselves available if your players are playing well. So, play well, and then see what happens in February. Because I feel pretty confident nothing's happening in a week. It's the only trades that happen before the trade deadline are like the purest of desperation moves. So I don't think it's happening. But we'll keep moving. Adam.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I got 2 questions for you guys, and I'm going to keep it moving. All right, first question. Next 2 months, Wiggins keeps playing like this. Do you guys sell high on the trade market before he could potentially revert back to his mean and maybe package him with a JK or a Moody and maybe try to get a vet like Siakam, something like that, who could potentially help us this year right now? That's the first question. And then the second question. You have to bet with your life on a 3-point contest between Isaiah Joe and Klay Thompson. Who you guys choosing? All right, I'll leave it at that. Have a good night, fellas.
Man,
Adam, appreciate it. Those are 2 great questions. So, do you sell high on Wiggins? I'll let you go first. I have thoughts on this.
My answer is a no, but it's a really weird no. My answer is no because he took a discount to sign on with you for an extended period of time. And his mean is still pretty good, although he's had, he used to be a very dependable, good, not great player.
For about a year and a half there, he was super consistent every night. Yeah.
So I think that's still there, and I don't see any physical degradation. He's in his prime, he's in his peak, and he took less to be here. I think it's a bad look for the franchise as a whole if someone takes less. I know it's a business and all, but he took a lot less to stay for a longer amount of time with the Warriors, and they unlocked the most out of him. They want to chip together. So I don't sell high on Wiggins, but that being said, right, if I don't know what I'm trying to define what the right opportunity would look like to go make a move. I can't really think of it. It'd be incredible.
So you're tying into my take. Here's my take. My take is everyone except Steph's on the table. That does not mean I do it, but I'm listening to everything.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot. If Steph was a little more washed up, I would just say, fuck it, let's ride. Yeah. Let the old guys ride into the sunset and do kind of a rebuild in general, like kind of go into it. But Steph is still playing at a level that, like, I mean, what players in the NBA do you think are better than Steph right now? And you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel. Do you actually think he's better than him? You're just being polite. Okay.
Yeah.
So my point is, I think he's on the short list of guys who can be the best player on a title team. And as long as he's playing at that level, I think everything should be on the table. And that doesn't mean I want to do it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I think they're better off keeping Wiggins and trying to find another way to add because like their issue is they just don't have enough talent, right? Or enough like firing in its prime talent is the better way to put it. Like you got some guys who are talented but old, and you got some guys who are talented but like maybe your time's in 3 years, like that sort of thing. Anyway, my point is, as long as Steph is playing at this level, I think the franchise has an obligation to think of things through the lens of how do we compete with number 30. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
The second question was, who would you rather have in a 3-point shooting contest? And I think the question imbued within that was right now, like this second, Isaiah Joe or Clay.
I mean, I might rather have Isaiah Joe than Steph today, but
yeah, like I mean, if you can convince Isaiah Joe that he's playing against the Warriors, I'm going to take Isaiah Joe. But by default, I mean, come on, guys, it's Klay Thompson we're talking about.
Yeah, if we're talking 3-point contest, it's Klay. I think what Isaiah Joe does better than Klay is he's quicker to get to a spot in a real game, which matters because ultimately we're not doing a 3-point contest. We're playing real basketball. But yeah, it's a fun Isaiah Joe, by the way, good player, and tormented the Bay Area for the entire weekend. So we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it here. We got Griffin coming through. This will be our last caller of the night. Vignesh, I really appreciate you coming. You let me know if you want to plug anything on your way out.
I'll take a quick second to plug something. We'll get the last caller up here first.
If they exist.
Aha.
They do. There we go. Now, it's always.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
The main thing I was just going to say is that I think there's been a little bit too much focus when people are talking about trades or trying to make a move on like who's a second option or who's going to be able creating shots outside of Steph. Because I think like this year the Warriors are 16th in offensive rating, which is exactly what they were in 2022. But just the biggest difference has been the defense. That was when Wiggins was an all-star and we had Jordan Poole, and still the offense was middle of the pack. But the defense was second in the league that year. I think it's been a much bigger drop off, and even with Draymond playing this year, it's been a little bit suspect. I think that's kind of what needs to improve more for them to get back to which like playing the traditional Warriors basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair call out. Appreciate you, Griffin. Keep moving. All right, before we get out of here, what are we plugging?
All I am plugging is check out GSW Fast Break. It's at mercurynews.com/Warriors or search for Fast Break or find me on Twitter. Sam, I gotta go write about this game now, and that is going to drive probably more misery than this has been really good therapy. But I'm about to descend back into the depths of madness to go write about this game. Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you, man. You're always welcome, and I really, yeah. I don't envy. I'll read what you write, but I don't envy.
It's not going to be fun. Have a good night, Sam.